In this video we'll talk about what is user experience design. Now, over the years I read many definitions and collaborating with a lot of user experience designers, each and every one has its own twist when it comes to the definition and what they think user experience design is all about. However, there are certainly some common patterns. In this video I want to share with you what I think user experience design is after working with over 40 clients over the past 8 years and having studied this at university. Now, one of the definitions which I think is most accurate is the following one from a Medium post. And that is that UX design is studying user behavior and understanding user motivations with the goal of designing better digital experiences for the users. So I think that user experience design, it's actually all about the user. And what this means in practical terms, in my opinion, is that essentially we have two parties. We have the company, which is trying to provide a solution to a problem that the user has. And essentially the user experience is the connection between the company trying to help the user and the end user actually managing to solve that problem. So user experience is quite a broad term, and it's not referred to only for the design aspects or only for the strategic part of the process, but it's actually encompassing a lot of different steps. Now, step one is the strategy, because as a company who's trying to solve a problem for the user, the strategy part is really important, and if you nail the strategy, everything else is just going to come into place much more easily. And if the strategy is not, but if the strategy is wrong, you can do everything right when it comes to the other departments, but you won't get the results that is going to be helpful for the end user. The very next stage is the scope, and that is essentially gathering all the requirements needed in order to create the final structure. And that is where information architecture and user flows come into place. And this is an essential step which is going to enable you to gather all the requirements and create a structure within a timeline, and especially when it comes to the informations which you need to communicate or the goals that you need to achieve for the user to solve that issue. Now, right afterwards, there's going to be the skeleton structure, which is actually creating the wireframes. And after that, once you have the wireframes and the skeleton structure is rock solid, you want to get to the surface part, which is going to be the UI design, the brand identity, and everything that is going to really make all of the project come into place, make it aesthetically stunning and in line with the brand identity and the values of the company. And that's going to be the very last stage. And in this whole process, one key element which is super important is actually user research and user interviews. So you want to be as much in line with the user as you can, and this might include in the very early stages things like interviewing potential users, and also at the very last stages and in the process in between. You always want to be as much in line with the user as you can in order to create a product which is going to be perfect for them. So as a whole, you can see that user experience encompasses a lot of different steps and involves all sorts of different disciplines, although the user experience designer is going to be the key master of the orchestra. So you want to create a solution which is going to be functional for the end user, and at the same time you also want to maintain elements such as the brand identity, the visual consistency and appeal. You want to create almost a pyramid of needs when it comes to scoping out those type of objectives in the project. So at the very bottom of the pyramid, there's going to be the very essential needs for the project to succeed, and that is by actually solving the user problem. And you're going to do that by creating a user experience solution which is going to be functional, first of all, which is going to be reliable, so there's not going to be any bugs and the information and the data is going to be updated, those kind of things. And it's also going to be usable. And at the very top of the pyramid, and that is when you really nail a user experience design project, is you're going to create an experience which is going to be memorable, pleasurable, and it's also going to make an impact in the user memory. And that's the point where you create a brand like Apple, where they don't simply have customers, they have fans, and people love the Apple brand, and sometimes they even just buy because they like the brand, not even because they have a deep need for the product. So that is the very goal that you have to strive for as a user experience designer, to create incredible brands which solve the user problems in a efficient and pleasurable way. So this is it when it comes to user experience design as a whole, and again, it's a very broad term. Many definitions have been given and they're going to continue to arrive, so it's a very exciting path to take as a career, and it's going to really be stimulating, since you're going to work on all type of projects, and you're never going to get bored.